You're listening to Little Rockers Radio, and as you know, we love to chat to a range of people from parenting experts to mums, dads, musicians, celebrities, and people that are doing amazing things in their communities. Our conversation today is with a lady who set up an amazing organisation with an absolutely dedicated group of volunteers who make a difference to mums and families in need. We're chatting to Jessie from St Kilda Mums. Hi Jessie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, I'm really well, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today on Little Rockers. Now, I wanted to just quickly start with the basics. For those that haven't heard of St Kilda Mums or Geelong Mums or Eureka Mums before, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. We collect donations of clean and safe baby gear. We then pass everything on to social workers supporting families who are experiencing hardship. And a lot of our work is involved in packing, presenting these donations really as gifts. So everything is given away as a gift, and we're very responsive to the specific needs of the families. Which is why we're very fortunate to have these partnerships with social workers.
And how does it come about? You've been running it since, is it 2009, is that right?
That's right.
How did the whole idea come about?
It was on the back of just a working bee that I had organised at my local maternal child health centre.
Yep.
I had a little baby and I was visiting quite frequently for the checkups as you do. He'd grown out of some preemie nappies and clothing, and I offered it to my maternal child health nurse because I knew that there were families in my neighbourhood that were struggling. And she said, "Oh, look, just pop it in the photocopying room." And that photocopying room was just chaos. Didn't see the photocopier, and there were plastic bags and Huggies boxes full of great quality gear. So a lot of other people had the same idea as me. I think when you have a newborn baby and your baby grows out of these precious things, you can't stand the thought of it just kind of being dropped into a charity bin at the supermarket. You really want it to go to somebody who needs it. And we discovered that there was just nothing like that around. So we offered to clean up the photocopying room. We packaged everything by size and gender and labelled everything clearly. And the nurses were just so thrilled because suddenly they had a resource. Previously, if they needed something, they could never find it. And now they knew just exactly what stock they had on hand. In every maternal child health centre, in every, city council, there are normally 2 or 3 universal nurses who look after you and I. Right. And then there's always an enhanced care nurse who is really dealing with the families that are most at risk. So typically the enhanced care does outreach. When you have that first visit, when the nurse first comes to your home, that what they're doing there is they're assessing your ability to care for your baby. Yep. Do you have a safe cot? Have you got the power on? That sort of thing. And they're also checking to see that you feel safe in your home because, as you may know, the instance of domestic violence during pregnancy is increased. So, when they ask you questions like, do you feel safe in your own home, they're trying to ascertain whether you need additional care. Now, that enhanced program delivers another 15 hours of contact hours between the nurse and the family. Right. So these are the nurses that we really sort of tapped into in the very early days. And we just started working with the one nurse at Chapel Street. But as time went on, by word of mouth, she told other social workers working for, Salvo's, Uniting Care Connections. There's a huge number of social service agencies that are working with vulnerable families. And then we get more and more requests from different social workers. And then we started asking our friends to donate, and then their friends' friends would donate. And, for 4 years, all this stuff came over my front porch. And other volunteers, other farming committee members, because it was just a very small team in the beginning, they would meet with the social workers in our lock-up storage unit we had down a laneway. We grew out of a photocopying room and more space. So fortunately, a very generous local couple let us use their double garage in Elwood for about 3 years. We were there. Yeah. I was working full time, so other volunteers would meet with the social workers each week, and then I would run the collections on the weekends and
Gosh.
spend a lot of my weekends, cleaning prams and packing toy bags. And,
Yes.
it was very small, and we grew gradually and manageably. But then in 2013, we leased our first warehouse here in St Kilda, and that really transformed everything.
Yeah.
Our ability to help hundreds of families instead of dozens.
Yes. Absolutely. And you also then found that there were needs in other communities as well, and Geelong and Eureka, or Ballarat. So you've got a similar sort of operation in those areas as well, haven't you?
That's right. We before we got the warehouse, I used to run collections all over Melbourne. So
right.
I'd drive my ute out to Boronia and set up in somebody's front garden and pray for good weather and promote the Boronia collection on our Facebook page, and local families would come, and it got bigger than me and my ute pretty quickly.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the Geelong instance happened with exactly the same thing. A group of girls down there said, "Look, we'd like to do a collection for you." So I drove down and met just a lovely bunch of girls who they were hooked after the first collection, and they saw a very real need in Geelong. And I'm actually really surprised because I've just looked at the figures to the end of April, and Geelong is a third the size of St Kilda Mums now, which is incredible. They've had a huge year of growth, and we have been really stymied by lack of space, but that problem has now been solved with the leasing of the new warehouse across the road.
Of the warehouse, absolutely. And I guess that real sense of community spirit comes in, especially in Geelong and probably in Ballarat as well, but and also St Kilda. And you've got a range of volunteers that help you, and this is actually how I first found out about St Kilda Mums. A mum from our school, Sharon, was a volunteer and very passionate about what you do. So how have you managed to gain, retain, and really keep a sense of community spirit with the volunteers?
Look, I think, letting people gravitate towards the work that they enjoy. And Sharon is a really good example of that. She just loves making up toy bags. So, I labelled her our toy queen and said, "You're in charge of toys." Because people do gravitate towards the tasks that they enjoy, and we try and support that. The other thing that's really key to everything we do is we're super, super flexible. So we'll value a volunteer who comes in once a month and tries to stay for 2 hours but has to leave after an hour because the baby's crying. Yep. They're just as valuable as the volunteer who comes in for 3 days a week, and we do have some volunteers that are here 3 days a week. Now, everybody is valuable and everybody is supported in their volunteering. We're so fortunate with social media as a means of communicating. I'd imagine when I was a child, my mum would have used a telephone tree. But we've now got Facebook. So between our Facebook community page, which is to the public, and our closed Facebook group, which is just for our volunteers, I can throw out, tasks, I suppose, to the world, and you're not asking someone specifically, "Can you do this for me?" You're saying, "Who can help me do X today?" Yes. And then our volunteers can just kind of cherry pick those jobs that they have time for, that they're interested in, or that they, that they have a special skill in. And it amazes me how skilled our volunteers are, because everybody has 10, 15, 20 years work experience behind them when they're on mat leave, or when they take a break from their working life, be a parent, and those skills can be easily applied to what we're trying to achieve. So, absolutely. And they're not just mums, are they? You've got a whole range of different people that are helping you out. Yes, we certainly do. We have retirees, we have dads, we have aunts and uncles. And the other thing that is incredibly valuable to us is workplace volunteer teams. Right. So today I've got a team in from AMP. We've got about 10 people here helping. I've got a couple here in the office next door. You might hear their murmuring voices. They're helping me pack tea towel and greeting card orders that people have placed on our website as Mother's Day gifts. Yep. And there's the rest of the team is across the road, and they're sorting clothing and safety checking baby belongs. And so if you come in with your workplace many large organisations have 2 days of community service, annually that they provide to their employees. Yep. If you come in with your team, from 9 o'clock in the morning till, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we normally do 9:30, 3:30 sort of school hours. A group of 10 can get a hell of a lot of work done, and they can actually attack a very big job that might be onerous for a smaller group of volunteers. So we find that between our regular volunteers and our workplace volunteers, we're able to really churn through the work. But the thing that is the most important is, of course, having the space to do it.
Yeah.
And for us, we have the warehouse on the southern side of the road at number 5 Vale Street, where we've been for 2.5 years, is now completely dedicated to stock that is checked in, safe, and clean and packaged and ready to go out. So this is where we serve our social workers during the week, where we meet with the social workers and help them choose what they need for their families. And now on the north side of the road, which is 2 to 4 Vale Street, is where we can accept donations at our advertised collection times, and where all our volunteers can work. So we can fit 50 volunteers there now, which, 50 volunteers working together can make a massive difference. And when we're serving, 125 families every week, a nursery fit out, that's a lot of prams, cots and high chairs and things to check into stock. So
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I actually saw on the St Kilda Mums site that in the time, and these figures would have changed because I think it was mid 2015, but in the time since you'd been running, you'd rehomed over 13,000 clothing bags, 6,100 toy bags, 3,500 prams and strollers, 1,500 cots, and a whole range of other bits and pieces that mums and families need.
Yes,
and it's not just that you rehome them, but you rehome them with pride and quality, which is really nice, and all of the safety standards checked and in place.
Yeah. And going back to the volunteer contribution and why volunteering here is rewarding for people, I'm just constantly amazed by the great ideas people have. And I was in the warehouse just before looking at stock that was ready to go out, and one of our volunteers had, she'd found a toilet step, those plastic toilet steps people buy, and she'd found a potty, and she'd got a potty training book, and then she'd sort of put everything into a large, recycled kind of zipper bag that you might buy a doona cover in, and then had labelled it up. Now, we actually have on our website that we don't accept donations of potties and toilet steps and things, because, quite frankly, the social workers never ask for them. So we've got a huge, but they still come in because people still, accidentally include it with their bag of clothing. But this volunteer has found a way to present something as unsavoury as a second-hand potty in a way that a caseworker will go, oh, that's fantastic. That's everything this mum needs. She's got a child that she's starting to potty train. Here's a book. Here's the tools she needs to be successful. Now, listeners out there, please do not inundate us with potties because we won't be able to cope. But, it's about that. It's about the innovation. And it's also, our volunteers have always got the mum on the receiving end of the gift in mind. So, we ask that our donors freshly launder clothing and linen when they donate it to us.
Yes.
And the reason is, when the mum opens the bag, we want the smell of freshly laundered clothing to come out of that bag. And that is just such a nice, it's so nice to be able to do that, because, if somebody had given me a beautifully packed clothing bag with 200 garments for my newborn son, I would have been completely stoked. That would have been an amazing gift. But unfortunately, what happens is, if you've been on the receiving end of hand-me-downs, sometimes it's not a very pleasant experience. And so what we're trying to do is turn that on its head. And we have stickers that we put on our bags that say, this bag was packed especially for you by, Carly, for example. And the feedback that we get from the mums that we help, which comes to us on a postcard we include with the bags, which is like a survey card.
Right.
We ask people how they feel when they receive the gift. The feedback we get is, oh, can you please thank Carly for packing my bag for me? So it's that real connection. And we have our hashtag One Mother to Another, which we use for our Mother's Day campaigns, and we actually use all year round, because we're trying to make that real connection between somebody who's at home with small children to somebody else who's at home with small children, and a connection that says, I see you, I hear you, I want to help you, I value you. And for a lot of the families that we're supporting, they don't have that community connection. When people have been, they're living in a women's refuge, when they are, their house was burnt down, or, there's a whole lot of reasons why people might need help. For some people, they have actually had to walk away from their community. They've actually just had to get their kids and move away, and that's heartbreaking because there's nobody that they can turn to and ask for help.
Absolutely.
And so that's where we step in.
Absolutely. And you do it so well, because that whole sense of community really does carry through everything that you do. Now, you mentioned at the beginning that, or when we were chatting just before we went on air, that you're focusing on COTS for Tots at the moment. It's in its 4th year. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how people can get involved?
Yes, yeah. So COTS are the most important items for a baby. It's a safe place for a baby to sleep and dream and play. We fully support co-sleeping for families that want to do that, and we support that. But if you need to have a shower and your baby's awake, and you need to put your baby in a safe place, a cot is a great place to put your baby.
Absolutely.
It's an absolutely critical piece of equipment, and we never receive enough second-hand cots to meet the demand for orders. And that's because, that's for a variety of reasons, but the most important reason is the latest safety standard for cots came in just 10 years ago, or it's actually 12 years ago nearly now. But it means that most families, that have offered us cots in the past, if they've had 2 or 3 kids, actually their cot's too old by the time it gets offered to us. So what we are able to do is purchase cots wholesale. We've got an amazing supplier who sells us cots with a mattress included, delivered to any of our 3 warehouses in Geelong, Ballarat and St Kilda for $140, which is extraordinary.
Yes.
Because if you went out and bought, the cheapest cot you could possibly find, by the time you also purchase the mattress, it would be well over that. And then you have to actually go to a retail store and pick it up, or pay for the delivery to your home or whatever. So we've got this amazing deal with our supplier, and we can supplement the pre-loved cots with a constant supply of new cots, which is wonderful. But we still have to try and find the cots, the second-hand cots from the community, and purchase new ones. So last year in our Cots for Tots campaign, we collected 500 cots, which was just incredible.
Yes.
So that's second-hand and money to purchase new ones. So we got our 500 cot goal. And this year we're aiming for 750, which is a big stretch goal, but the demand increases every year, and with more babies sleeping safely, that is such an important goal for us to have.
Absolutely.
For these families, and we are, we're very hopeful that people will hopefully share this appeal and remind their friends that if they have a cot that their little one is about to graduate from, then please consider donating it to us, because if it's a safe cot that meets the current standard, it'll live for another 10 years, another 2 or 3, 4 babies might get to enjoy that beautiful cot.
Yeah, absolutely. And how can people, if they do have cots that their children are outgrowing, how can they first of all check whether it does meet the safety standards, and where can they go for more information? To your website, or
go to our website. On the donate link, there's a list. We've actually just recently updated it to include a positive list of cot brands. So these are cot manufacturers and brands that we're confident we can source spare parts for, or source the assembly instructions. Right. One thing that happens with cots is people will often misplace the original assembly instructions, or they'll lose a couple of screws. Yes. They might take it from the cot configuration to the toddler bed, and they'll lose some of the important stuff. If the cot is well made from a reputable manufacturer who has after sales service, in Australia, then we can using the stamp on the base slat,
yes.
which should have, I mean, a cot that meets standard should have stamped on the base slat the make, the model, the date and the country of manufacture, as well as, critically important, the mattress dimensions. So if you want to just have a look at your cot, those would be the first things you'd look at. But then we'd say, please come back to our website and have a look at the information on our website about the list of cots we're confident we can rehome. Another thing you can do is just take a photograph of that stamp on the base slat and email it through to us, donate at St Kilda Mums or donate at Geelong Mums or donate at eurekamums.org.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got volunteers who know cots very well who will be able to let you know whether it's something we can rehome. And I should also say that we're very happy to rehome used cot mattresses on the proviso that they are completely stain-free. So urine stains on mattresses, that's not something we would pass on to another family.
Yeah.
But most people who've used mattress protectors, are going to have a mattress that matches the cot, a good quality in the sprung mattress that matches the cot. And cot mattresses also should have a date of manufacture to meet the latest safety standard.
Right, okay.
What we find with a lot of our donors is that they've bought a new cot mattress for every child. And so we often get offered many more mattresses than we've got cots for. So we sort of have to control the supply of mattresses coming in because we just can't keep collecting them indefinitely. So if you have just the mattress, if you're one of those mums who's just bought a new mattress for a new baby and you've got an old one you'd like to rehome, please just take a photograph of the label that says who the make, the make and model and the date of manufacture of the mattress and the dimensions, because it's a very confusing world of multiple cot mattress dimensions.
Yeah.
And the match has to be exact.
Yeah, of course.
For it to be safe.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And also, we'll obviously have everything that you've just mentioned then, the links, the email, etc. We'll have all of that information up on our website at littlerockersradio.com.au. So if anyone listening has cots, mattresses, baby gear, anything that you think is still in good condition and that can be handed on from one mother to another. Also like your Facebook page, because you quite often put regular updates on there. And again, as I said, I'll pop all of that information on our website so our listeners can easily go there and find what they need. Thank you.
And one more thing I did want to mention is for $30, for a $30 tax-deductible donation, you can arrange a courier pickup. So if you're busy, or you can't, get everything that you want to donate in the car, please just do email us at donate@stkildamums.org and inquire about booking a courier service, because we do find that really helps with some mums that are, stuck at home with multiple littlies.
Absolutely.
You can't fill up the car if you've got the back seat full of car restraints.
Yes, absolutely. That's a fabulous idea. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and that's a tax-deductible courier pickup, $30. All right, I'll pop that information up on the site too. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations to you and to all of the volunteers that do an amazing job, and best of luck with the Cots for Tots promotion.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
That was Jessie from St Kilda Mums on Little Rockers Radio. Thanks for listening.